My late husband left a secret test in his will, and it would change our family forever. The day the lawyer called, my hands trembled. At 72, I'd lived through loss, love, and betrayal, but nothing like this. I gripped the edge of my kitchen counter, staring at the cold, gray morning through the window. The maple leaves outside swirled in the wind, echoing the turmoil inside me. My name is Martha Benson, and this is my story. Mrs. Benson? The lawyer's voice came through the phone, crisp and clinical. We need you to come in. The reading of your husband's will, it's unusual. Unusual? I whispered to myself, the word hanging like a shadow. My husband, Richard, had passed 2 months ago after a brief illness. Our life together had been quiet, predictable, comfortable. But I had always known him to have a streak of mischief, a twinkle of mystery in his dark eyes. Still, I never imagined this. At the lawyer's office, the air smelled of polished wood and stale coffee. My children, Lily and Mark, were already there, faces tight with anticipation. Lily fiddled with her phone. Mark's jaw was clenched. Neither met my eyes. The lawyer cleared his throat and began. Richard Benson's final wishes are unconventional. He has left specific instructions for both of you, his children, and Mrs. Benson, of course. I felt my stomach twist. The lawyer slid a thick envelope across the table. This contains the first part of the test. Test. My heart pounded. Later that evening, I sat alone in the dim light of my living room. The envelope lay on the coffee table, untouched. I remembered Richard's words during our last anniversary dinner. Life is a puzzle, Martha. Sometimes, the greatest truths are revealed when you least expect them. I shook my head. That sounded like him, cryptic, teasing. But this felt dangerous. My mind wandered to my children. Lily, 32, ambitious and polished, always eager to win approval. Mark, 30, competitive yet reckless. I worried. Could a test in a will really drive a wedge between them? The clock ticked. I felt the weight of time pressing down on me. I didn't know what the test would involve, but I had a feeling it wouldn't just be about money. It would be about character. And Richard had always valued integrity above all. I opened the envelope slowly. Inside, a letter written in Richard's familiar, looping handwriting. My dear family, I leave you not only what I have built, but a challenge. The inheritance is not mine to give freely. It must be earned, proven by wisdom, patience, and courage. The first step begins now. A folded piece of paper fell out. I picked it up. My eyes widened. It was a map, a cryptic set of instructions. And beneath it, in bold letters, the first choice will reveal everything. I felt a chill run down my spine. The game had begun. And somehow I knew it wasn't going to be easy. Could I guide my children through this test? Or would greed tear them apart first? The morning sun broke over the quiet street, but inside my home, tension burned hotter than any heat outside. I sat at the kitchen table, the map spread before me, the paper trembling slightly under my fingers. Lily and Mark hovered nearby, each peering at the strange set of instructions Richard had left. It's a scavenger hunt? Lily asked, skepticism in her sharp voice. Is he serious? My eyes narrowed. No, it's never just a game with your father. Read carefully. There's meaning here. Mark snorted. Meaning or not, it smells like trouble. Let's just follow the map and get it over with. I felt a pang of worry. His impatience could ruin everything. I knew Richard had designed this test to reveal true character, not just speed or cleverness. The map led them to an abandoned park on the outskirts of town, a place I hadn't visited in decades. Rusted swings creaked in the wind, and the faint smell of wet earth filled the air. A single wooden chest sat under an old oak tree, tied with a ribbon. Is that? Lily's voice trailed off. Yes, I whispered. Her heart raced. This is just the beginning. The letter inside the chest contained 2 envelopes. One was labeled Lily, the other Mark. My own envelope was hidden beneath them, unmarked. She tore hers open first. Inside, a single note read, "Before anything else, you must choose. Will you protect or betray? The path you choose now will echo through every decision after. Choose wisely." Her hands shook as she read the words. Protect or betray. What did he mean? Mark ripped open his envelope without hesitation. His eyes darted to Lily. This is ridiculous. We should just skip it. Lily hesitated, reading her note carefully. Her lips pressed tight. Protect, betray? He's insane. I felt my chest tighten. I could see it already, how easily this could divide my children. He's testing more than patience or intelligence. He's testing their hearts, she thought. The choice was simple in words but impossible in feeling. Protect meant looking out for the other, trusting one another. Betray meant pursuing personal gain at a cost. Richard's cunning lay in the fact that either choice would reveal their true selves. I stepped closer, my voice trembling but firm. Lily, Mark, remember what your father always said. Integrity matters more than everything else. Think. Not about the prize, about each other. Mark scoffed. This is emotional blackmail. He's dead, and now we're supposed to play his game? Lily's eyes filled with tears. I don't know. I want to do the right thing, but... I reached out, placing a hand on each of their shoulders. Listen to your hearts. Don't let anger, jealousy, or impatience make the choice for you. Minutes passed. The wind whispered through the trees. I watched my children struggle with the decision. I knew Richard would be watching from beyond the grave. This was his way of teaching them one final lesson. Then it happened. Mark grabbed the chest, his voice sharp. I'll take it. I don't care what it says. I'm done thinking. Lily gasped, stepping back. Mark, wait. But he had already opened his envelope. Inside, a single key lay on a velvet cushion. But there was more, a note that read, "Those who choose selfishly find the path blocked. Only those who honor family can continue." Mark's face turned pale. He looked at me, confusion and fear mingling in his eyes. I swallowed hard. I understood immediately. The first choice wasn't just a test of patience. It was a mirror. A mirror that showed who was ready for the truths to come, and who wasn't. This was only the beginning. The air in the old park was heavy, almost suffocating. My heart raced as I watched Mark clutch the key, eyes darting between Lily and me. Mom, this is ridiculous, he muttered. But I noticed a tremor in his voice, fear, not anger. Lily, pale and quiet, held her envelope close. Her hands shook. I don't know if I can do this, she whispered. I feel like we're being watched, like Dad is really here. I swallowed hard. He is here, I thought. In every word, every clue. And he's testing more than their choices. He's testing their souls. The key was meant for a small padlock at the base of the oak tree. With shaking hands, Mark inserted it. A soft click echoed through the silent park. The chest opened, revealing nothing but another envelope. Lily gasped. Another one? I took it carefully, reading aloud. The second challenge is truth. One secret, hidden for years, must now be revealed. Only honesty will guide you forward. I froze. My heart skipped a beat. I knew immediately what this meant. Richard had been holding a secret for decades. A secret that could fracture our family entirely. Mom, what secret? Lily asked, voice trembling. My mouth went dry. Should I tell them? But I knew the test was about letting the truth surface naturally. Richard designed it this way. He wanted it out in the open, in the chaos, in the rawness of emotion. Lily, Mark, there's something I've never told you about your father, she said slowly. Something he insisted we never speak of, until now. The children leaned in, tension clawing at their faces. He had a child before either of you were born, Martha whispered, her voice shaking. A daughter. She was put up for adoption. He never wanted it to be known. I never wanted to reveal it, but now, with his test, it seems he's forcing us. Mark's face went white. What? Are you serious? Lily's mouth fell open. She stepped back, almost stumbling. Dad, a secret sister? Why didn't we know? My eyes brimmed with tears. He wanted you to grow up safe, unaware. But this test, it's about confronting truths, no matter how painful. For a moment, the park was silent. Only the rustling leaves and the creaking swings filled the space. This is exactly what Richard wanted, Martha thought. Shock, emotion, tension, and the first fracture in their bond. Mark slammed the chest shut. I can't believe this. A sister? Hidden all these years. His hands trembled, and his face flushed with anger and confusion. Lily's voice was softer, but sharp with hurt. All these years, all the things we thought we knew, it's all a lie? I placed a gentle hand on Lily's shoulder. No, Iswetie. It's not a lie. It's just a part of life we never had to face. But your father, he knew that learning the truth this way would show who you truly are, who's honest, who's brave enough to face reality. A sudden breeze swept through the park, rustling the envelopes. I picked up the last one, labeled simply, For All. Inside, a single line in Richard's familiar handwriting. The final truth will be revealed only to those who act with integrity. Betray, and the path closes. Protect, and you will find the key to everything. I felt a chill. The stakes were higher than ever. The test wasn't just about inheritance or money anymore. It was about honesty, courage, and the raw emotions that can break or bind a family forever. And the biggest secret of all, the one that would shock them more than anything, was still waiting. The sun was fading, casting long shadows across the abandoned park. My hands were steady now, though her heart raced. I could feel the tension crackling between my children like electricity. Mark paced, the key clutched tightly in his fist. "This is insane," he muttered. "All this puzzles, secrets, riddles. Dad's ghost is messing with our heads." Lily stood a few feet away, her eyes fixed on the chest. She had folded and unfolded the envelope a dozen times, as though the paper held answers she could extract if she concentrated hard enough. I took a deep breath. He didn't want it easy. He wanted you to see who you truly are. And right now, that means trusting each other, or failing completely. Mark snorted. "Trust? After everything you just said? A hidden sister? You expect me to trust Lily now?" Lily flinched at the accusation. I'm not the enemy, Mark." My chest tightened. This is it, I thought. This is the moment Richard engineered. The fracture, the test of loyalty, the mirror of their hearts. The next envelope contained a small slip of paper with a single instruction. You must each give the other something you value most. Only if you do this with honesty and care will the path to the next step open. Mark's face twisted with frustration. "What? That's impossible. That's blackmail." My voice was firm. "It's a challenge, Mark. You must think beyond yourself. Think of Lily. Think of love. Think of integrity." Lily hesitated, tears welling in her eyes. I can do it. I think I can if he's testing our hearts. Maybe this is the only way." Mark stared at her, the words bouncing off his anger. "And if I don't? What then?" My gaze was unwavering. "Then you fail the test. And I fear you might never see the truth your father wanted you to find." A tense silence fell. The wind rustled the chest and the envelopes. I watched Lily slowly reach into her bag and pull out a small, delicate locket. It had been her mother's, a family heirloom she cherished above all else. I'm giving this to you, Mark," she said, her voice trembling. "Because no matter what, you're my brother. This proves I trust you, even when everything else is chaos." Mark's jaw tightened. For a long moment, he didn't move. Then, almost reluctantly, he took a crumpled stack of papers from his coat pocket. Letters Richard had written him over the years. They were deeply personal, some filled with advice, some with memories only Mark and Richard shared. I'll give you these," he muttered. "I guess this proves I trust you too." My eyes filled with tears. I knew this was what Richard had hoped for. The moment when selfishness gave way to connection. The chest clicked. A hidden compartment slowly slid open, revealing another envelope, larger than the others. My hands shook as she lifted it. The note inside read, "Congratulations. You have passed the first true test. But the hardest challenge lies ahead. What you now hold will reveal your father's final secret, one that will change everything you think you know about your family." Mark and Lily exchanged looks, fear, disbelief, and something else, a flicker of awe. I whispered, almost to herself, "He's not done. The next test, it will shake us all to the core." The next morning, my house was eerily quiet. The storm from the previous night had passed, leaving the air crisp and sharp. I sat at the dining table, sipping tea, trying to steady my nerves. The children had barely slept, their minds replaying the first test over and over. And now the final challenge loomed. A soft knock at the door made my heart skip a beat. "Who?" I whispered, standing slowly. Before I could reach it, the door opened. And there she was, tall, composed, with eyes that mirrored Richard's, dark and piercing. "I'm Emily," the woman said calmly. I'm your father's other daughter." Lily stumbled back, her face pale. That can't be true." Mark's hands trembled. "Dad, why? Why now?" Emily looked at them both with an odd serenity. "I wasn't supposed to know about you either," she admitted. "He kept me away safe, but I think he wanted this moment to happen." I felt a wave of emotion hit me, shock, fear, awe. I could see it now. Richard's final test wasn't just about integrity or honesty. It was about reunion, forgiveness, and understanding. He wanted us to face our hearts. I thought, swallowing hard. Emily stepped inside, her eyes scanning the room. She paused, looking at me. "You must be Mrs. Benson. I've heard so much about you." "About him?" My voice was barely audible. "Yes, I'm your stepmother, in a sense. Your father loved you, even if you didn't grow up together. He left clues for this meeting." Lily, tears streaming down her face, whispered, I don't know what to say. Mark just stood frozen, fists clenched. How? How do we even know this is real? Emily smiled faintly. I have his handwriting. Letters. Memories he shared only with me. And now, I have his will. The room fell silent. Martha's eyes widened. The final envelope, it's with her. Emily handed over a thick, cream-colored envelope. My hands shook as I took it. The handwriting was unmistakable. Richard's looping script, familiar and warm, yet heavy with the weight of mystery. It's his final secret, I whispered. Lily leaned forward. Please open it. Mark, still skeptical, nodded reluctantly. We need to know. We have to. Martha tore the envelope slowly. Inside, a letter began. To my family. If you have made it this far, you have proven your hearts are true. The journey was never about money, power, or possessions. It was about love, forgiveness, and unity. Emily, my daughter, you are now part of this family. Treat each other with care. Your inheritance, both material and spiritual, depends on your bond, not on greed. Emily stepped closer, placing her hand over me. He wanted this family whole in the end. He wanted us to prove that love can overcome mistakes, secrets, and even betrayal. Tears streamed down my cheeks. He really thought of everything. Even after he was gone. Mark finally exhaled, relief and guilt mingling in his eyes. I think I understand now. This was never about the will. It was about us. About who we are. Lily nodded, hugging Emily. Welcome to the family, she whispered, sobbing softly. The living room felt heavy, like the air itself was holding its breath. I sat between my children, Lily and Mark, while Emily stood near the doorway, calm yet expectant. The envelope Richard had left, the final one, rested on the coffee table like a ticking time bomb. My hands shook slightly as I picked it up. The weight of Richard's presence was almost tangible. He's watching us through this, she thought. And he knows what we'll do next. Mark leaned forward, frowning. Okay, let's get this over with. What's in there? Money? Property? A trap? Lily glanced at him sharply. Mark, it's more than that. Don't you feel it? I nodded slowly. Yes. This is about more than inheritance. This is about who we truly are when no one's looking. With deliberate care, I opened the envelope. Inside were 3 items. A key, ornate and gold, a letter from Richard, a small, intricately carved wooden box. The letter read, To my beloved family, you have passed every test so far because you have chosen love, honesty, and courage over selfishness. The final step is simple but terrifying. Inside the box lies the choice of a lifetime. You may divide the inheritance among yourselves, or one person may claim it all, if they prove themselves worthy through an act of selflessness. Choose wisely. Your actions tonight will define your legacy. I swallowed hard. The room fell silent. Emily's eyes met me. He wanted us to decide together. But there's a catch. Only the one who acts without greed can unlock the final treasure. Mark's face flushed. This is insane. Why would he do this? Lily's voice was trembling but steady. Because it's about proving we're more than money-hungry kids. It's about being human. Being worthy. I reached out and lifted the box. The lid was locked. The golden key fit perfectly, but there was only one key. Only one of them could open it. My heart pounded. This is the ultimate test. Who will be brave enough to give up control, to act with integrity when temptation is screaming in their face? Mark's hands itched toward the key, but Emily stopped him gently. Not so fast, she said. It's not about taking it first. It's about who is willing to let others have their chance, who will act with selflessness. Lily's eyes filled with tears. I think I understand. This isn't a game. It's a lesson. About everything Dad wanted us to learn. I felt a lump in my throat. Your father, he designed this to see if love could win. If we could rise above greed, selfishness, and anger. This is his final gift. And his final challenge. Minutes passed. Tension twisted the room into knots. Everyone's eyes were on the box, the key, the promise of everything Richard had left behind. Then Lily did something shocking. She handed the key to Mark. I think you should go first, she said softly. You always acted rashly before. Maybe now you'll do the right thing. Mark stared, stunned. What? No. I can't. Emily smiled faintly. This is exactly what he wanted to see. Who acts with courage, who acts with love. Mark's jaw tightened. He hesitated, then, reluctantly, passed the key back to Lily. My eyes filled with tears. This This is exactly the moment Richard planned. Lily opened the box slowly. Inside was a set of documents, detailed plans, and a note. You have done what none others could. You have proven that love, patience, and courage triumph over greed. The inheritance is yours, but the true gift is the bond you have rebuilt tonight. Tears streamed down everyone's faces. Even Mark, angry and stubborn, finally let himself be vulnerable, hugging his sister and mother. I whispered softly, he did it. He really did it. He gave you everything, and more than that, he gave you each other. The night had settled like a velvet cloak over my house. The family had returned inside after the park ordeal, their emotions raw and frayed. Lily clutched the box in her hands, Mark sat silently, and Emily paced the living room like a calm storm, eyes sharp and searching. I poured herself a cup of tea, but my hands trembled. Something still felt unfinished. Richard, what else did you leave us? Emily finally broke the silence. There's one more envelope, she said, producing a small, thick envelope tucked inside the bottom of the box. It had no label, no name, no hint of what it contained. The room fell silent. Everyone leaned in. My voice was barely a whisper. This could be it. The final secret. Mark groaned. I swear, if it's another riddle, I'm walking out. I can't take any more of this. Lily, tears still glistening on her cheeks, held the envelope carefully. No, we need to know. This is Dad's final message. We have to see it. I gently encouraged her. Go ahead, Lily. But read slowly. Absorb every word. Lily opened the envelope and pulled out a letter. Her eyes widened as she read aloud. My dear family, if you are reading this, you have proven yourselves worthy in every test. But there is one final twist. The inheritance is not only financial, it carries responsibility. I have set aside a part of my estate for a purpose that will test your hearts again. It is for someone beyond this family, someone who cannot fight for themselves. How you choose to handle this will define your legacy and the truth of who you are. Mark's face twisted. Wait, what? Beyond the family? Who? What does that even mean? Emily's lips pressed tight. It's a challenge of compassion. He's asking you to act selflessly, not for gain, not for recognition, but for someone who needs it most. My hands shook. This is why he created this test all along. It wasn't about money or power. It was about proving we could love beyond ourselves. Lily's voice was barely audible. Do you think he's testing us one last time? Making sure we've learned? Martha nodded. Yes. He wanted to see if we could extend our hearts even after we thought the test was over. Mark ran his hands through his hair, pacing. So now we're supposed to help a stranger? Give up part of what we just earned. Emily's expression softened. Yes. And that's the final measure of your father's wisdom. Who acts for the greater good, not for themselves. The room was tense. Each of them considered the weight of the choice. The inheritance was substantial. It could change their lives. But Richard's final test asked for something priceless, their humanity. I finally spoke. He left the choice to us, to see if we're capable of more than greed. If we honor him by honoring others, we fulfill the true purpose of everything he built. Lily glanced at Mark. I think we have to do it. Whatever it is, we can't fail him now. Mark sighed, a mix of frustration and understanding. Fine. But if this ruins us? I swear. I placed a hand on his shoulder. It won't. Richard believed in this family more than we could ever imagine. And he's giving us the chance to prove it, one last time. Emily handed me a folded note she had found inside the same envelope. It read simply, "The true test of wealth is not what you take, but what you give." My eyes filled with tears. I looked at my children, and something shifted, a fragile but powerful understanding. Richard had not only tested them, he had taught them. The morning sun streamed through the windows, casting golden light across my living room. The family sat together, the final envelope from Richard before them. Silence hung heavy in the air, broken only by the soft rustle of the paper as I unfolded it. Emily leaned forward, her expression calm but alert. This is it, the moment he set everything up for. My hands trembled slightly. This is what he meant by responsibility, by love beyond ourselves. Lily and Mark exchanged glances. Both looked nervous, but also ready. The letter inside revealed the final twist. My beloved family, if you have reached this point, you have proven your hearts. The inheritance is not only for you, but also for someone who cannot fight for themselves, a child in need, someone abandoned, alone, or forgotten. How you act now will define the true legacy of our family. Choose wisely. Act selflessly. With love, always. Richard. I felt a lump in my throat. I could hear my husband's voice in MYT mind. The greatest truths are revealed when you least expect them. Mark frowned. A child? Someone we don't even know? How are we supposed to? Lily cut him off softly. It's not about us anymore. Dad, he's asking us to see beyond ourselves. This is what he wanted. Emily nodded. He's teaching the final lesson. Compassion. Integrity. Love that reaches beyond family. I took a deep breath. Then it's decided. We will do this. Together. The room felt electric. They were no longer just siblings, no longer just a family bound by blood. They were a team, united by the lessons Richard had left behind. Later that day, they visited the children's hospital Richard had chosen. There, in a quiet room, they met a little girl named Sophie. She was no more than 8, with bright, curious eyes, a shy smile, and a story of hardship no child should bear. I knelt beside her. Sophia. We're here. Because someone very special wanted us to help you. Sophie's eyes widened. Really? Lily and Mark exchanged a glance, both overwhelmed with emotion. This was it, the final act. They handed over the inheritance set aside for her care, education, and happiness. It was more than money. It was hope, opportunity, and a future Richard wanted them to gift selflessly. As they left the hospital, my eyes filled with tears. Richard, you did it. You taught us everything we needed to learn. Not about money, not about secrets, about love. Mark nodded, silent, finally letting go of anger and resentment. He was brilliant. I get it now. Every step, every test, every secret. Lily hugged me tightly. And Emily, welcome to the family. Dad wanted this moment. We're complete now. Emily smiled softly. Yes, and we'll honor him by living it. Every day. Back at home, I sat quietly in the living room. I looked at the now empty envelopes, the chest, the letters, all carefully preserved. I realized Richard's true genius wasn't in the money or the clever games. It was in teaching hearts, shaping a family to understand what really matters. Love, integrity, compassion. I whispered softly, almost to myself. He left us more than wealth. He left us his legacy, and now it's ours to carry forward. And as I closed his letters for the last time, I wondered, what other secrets did Richard leave behind? What lessons might still wait for those willing to seek them?